Is it me? Or the light's really bright in here, man? Yes? No?
It's
Are you
not too
are you
bright.
with us?
Are you with us?
So, as I was saying, this is a very special broadcast because today we're celebrating something about a Jewish guy or something. What was that?
I know celebrating a birthday, but what are you trying to say?
Someone that's celebrating a birthday.
Yep,
Who would that be? Who's celebrating a birthday?
your friend.
Oh, yeah, that's a different Jewish guy than I was talking about.
Oh,
Shout out to Frank,
yeah,
man.
happy birthday.
It's his birthday.
Frank.
Happy birthday, or in Filipino, Malagayang Bati.
Yep, or maligayang kaarawan.
But aside from my buddy's birthday, whoa, I just noticed I have something about Mary hair. I think I was using some of that special hair gel that she was using. But going back to the special day, man, it's so bright in here. Going back, what was I saying, man?
Make sure.
I lost
check
my
this.
train of thought.
What?
Oh yeah, it's a special day today because there's this Jewish dude that apparently he was reincarnated today. Yes, is that right? Does that sound right?
Hello, it's the Resurrection Day or Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everyone.
And this is when a Jewish guy was reincarnated, right? Something like that.
He's not
You gotta
a
fill
mere
me in
Jewish
on these things,
guy.
man.
He's Jesus. So, there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I've heard of that guy, man. He's our Lord and Savior or
Of
something.
course.
Oh, I know why today is special. Because there's bunny rabbits and candy. And man, I got the munchies right now. I could really go for some Easter candy, man. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, oh, candy would be good right now, man. And I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, today, I think today is another holiday or something. I heard so. I don't know what what this holiday would be, man. But I'm pretty sure today's some other kind of holiday. Hold on one second, Ged.
I think they're saying, can we just have Travis Kraft again?
Um,
It's so annoying. Stop coughing.
Tis the season. But
To do what?
today is another holiday, man. Do you know what that holiday is?
That's what they say. I just saw it on Facebook earlier. People are saying 420,
420,
whatever
man.
that is.
What's that all about, man? I don't even know.
I think it's about like that.
So it's
Hi,
Easter
Joey.
and 420, and we get the munchies on this day, right? And Jesus comes and hangs out and tokes with us today. Is that what the holiday is all about, man?
Whatever you say.
Oh, 1 second. I just gotta. I need one more hit. Need to toke this last one. Oh, that was a strong one, man. Now I really got the munchies. I want like a chocolate bunny. And you know it would be even better than a chocolate bunny, man.
What?
A chocolate bunny with weed in it, man. That would be great, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure what they will be thinking about
That-
you.
Because Jesus was resurrected on this day, and then the bunnies ran around and gave us candy with weed in it. Is that what it is?
I didn't get any candy though.
Oh, it's so bright in here, man.
Is
Oh.
it bright? Do you think it's bright, guys?
Wait. I see something. I It's Jesus. I see him. Wait a minute, man. Maybe this is just a hallucination. Oh, that's not Jesus, man. That's a taong grasa. Thought it was Jesus, man.
What's a taong grasa for our viewers like Don Jovi?
Oh, man. Corey's in the room.
Yep. Hi.
Whoa.
Corey says, "Happy Easter, Imabelle and
Happy
Travis."
Easter, dude.
How
What is today again? It's Easter at 420.
it's Easter or Resurrection Sunday and 420, as they say.
Okay, I'll stop.
420.
Enough of that nonsense.
Okay.
That was
Thank God.
that was going on a bit long, and I really do have something about Mary hair, and it's late at night where we are. So unfortunately, I didn't comb my hair for you guys, and it's not because I don't respect you. It's just, I don't know. It's late at night. It's hot and humid as heck. We have a fan going. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the audio.
That's the reason why
So-
our faces are kind of oil. Our faces are kind of oily.
I try and drink like a cold drink, a cold soda, but in this room it just heats up so fast. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Anyways, hi everyone. If you're in America, maybe let me say good morning.
Happy Easter and happy
Yeah.
420.
If you are here in the Philippines, no, in America, good morning for everyone who are here in the Philippines. Good
And for everyone
evening.
that's in the room live, and for everyone that's watching the recording of this, happy holiday, whichever one you celebrate. Easter, I guess, is the main one going on. I think it's Passover too, I believe, right now, if you're Jewish. And we might have one Jewish viewer in the aforementioned, Frank. So don't forget, Corey says, don't forget the best thing about Easter, peeps. What's peeps?
Peeps like people. I'm not sure.
I thought it's candy was the best thing about Easter.
Corey also said mostly it is a celebration about the Easter bunny, right? 3 colored eggs and candy in a basket. Let me share with you something. Can I say something first?
All right.
You know what, Corey? Travis has been telling me that on Easter Sunday is really fun, especially for kids, right? Because you have all these
In the
Easter-
United States.
Yes, in America.
They don't do this
Easter
here.
candies and Easter egg hunting and stuff like that. It's not really common here in the Philippines, but there are like hotels or like a group of people who just organize something like something like that. Some events like that, but it's not really common here.
And Corey, who's in the room live, he just got his blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Wow,
So
congratulations.
congratulations on the promotion. So he's moving up in the world, which is something that we should all be trying to do regardless of what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I knew someone that used to say, if you're not going forward, you're going backward, which means, of course, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. You don't just necessarily stay the same, and I think there's something to that.
Don't be stagnant.
Something to that.
Did you see what Don Jovi said? The first comment that's left in the room.
Haha.
Yeah, haha to
He-
your
that
to
would-
your act.
That was. I'm gonna send this as my audition tape to Cheech and Chong, and maybe I can be in their next film.
What's that?
Uh,
Cheech.
But there's something I want. There's something that I want to go with this, and we'll talk about briefly. There's a guy. He's popular on YouTube, and unfortunately, as we saw on TV about a week or two ago, I don't want to mention the guy's name, and I'm not trying to. In this story, I'm going to tell. I'm not trying to insult him or get on him, but he has lung cancer. Unfortunately, he's a very young guy. I don't even think he smokes cigarettes, and when you get lung cancer at that age, it probably, even if he did smoke cigarettes, it probably wouldn't have been caused from that. It's purely genetic, I think. But fortunately, he's got the lung cancer. But apparently you follow him on Facebook or something, yes?
I think so.
Because you saw a post.
From him.
And
which
what did
got,
the post say?
Hundreds of, not hundreds, like thousands of likes and comments.
What did the post say, though?
He said something like, I can't remember the exact words, but something like he greeted Happy Easter or something like that. And then he said, some people are celebrating 420 or whatever, but he sounded like
Well, here's what he said. Let,
what?
let me get to the point. We're taking a roundabout way.
'Cause I
He
can't
he gave a
really
post
remember.
saying Happy Easter, and it's also 420. Don't kill yourselves with the 420. That's what he said,
Something like if
and it was, I guess, maybe a little bit of
I'm
a
trying to recall.
controversial.
No,
It was maybe a
it's
little bit
like
of a
he.
controversial post. He said, "Don't kill yourselves with 420,"
It,
which we can
it's
kind of
like
assume what
420
he
is
means by
like
that.
would be killing yourself. So he's not in favor of that. To him it's bad.
But as someone pointed out, that you said their
There were many
comment was,
comments
they said
saying
that it fights cancer, so he shouldn't be against it. And since he has cancer, they were saying maybe it could help him. I guess I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but this guy in the story about him that we saw on TV, where they were talking about his cancer, he had a little bit of a controversy, I guess, because he posted some photos, or some photos of him surfaced on the internet where he was celebrating. It was like a holiday or a party, and he was posing with like pictures of booze, like like he's rocking it up with the booze. And people, I guess, they said that he lives an unhealthy, unwholesome lifestyle, and that's why he got cancer. Which I don't believe that. A young guy that has young cancer. This guy was, boy, he's maybe like early 20s or something like that. He looks very young, super young guy. If a guy that age gets lung cancer, it's purely genetic. It's not from, like, people that get lung cancer from smoking cigarettes. It takes like decades, I think, typically before it
manifest.
happens. So he hasn't even really been alive long enough to, and would have been, even if he was a smoker, he couldn't have smoked long enough. So it's just got to be purely genetic is the reason he has that cancer. It's like winning a lottery, a bad lottery, unfortunately. But these photos surfaced, and they were asking him, like, because there's these accusations saying he lives an unwholesome lifestyle, he lives an unclean lifestyle. So I think his post about don't kill yourself with the 420, I think that it's a little bit, he's trying to make it seem like he's this very pure, wholesome guy that has this very clean living, which, so that's my theory, and I don't know the guy. I have nothing against him. I wish him well in his battle with cancer. But I think it's just kind of image control, because he wants people to think that he's very against certain things, even though it's impossible to kill yourself with 420. Anyone that's taken a science class would know that, man.
really.
But we all know that the science
Yeah,
isn't encouraged for
actually,
people in this country.
when I
So
was in school, 420, as it's considered one of the illegal stuff,
well, it's still legal in this
illegal
country.
drugs
In
in the
this country.
Philippines, yes. But after learning many things from you and from reading, you know, more online and from other people experienced it, I guess if 420 is really beneficial
Can be
to
beneficial,
if
I
if it
believe,
can
and
be
it's being
beneficial
proven
to
to some
oneself,
people, to some people with certain conditions.
yeah.
It's some people in the U.S., because there's this whole lobby for it. Basically, some people in the U.S., they'll make it out to be like it's some kind of miracle drug or something like that, and I think that that's taking it way too far, and that's getting borderline ridiculous. But I do believe, because I've known people with certain conditions that used it, and they're not like
Well, I
they're not
saw a news
druggies or
story
whatever.
on TV about that in the Philippines, and then I also saw stories online. So, but like what I was telling you, it's okay for health reasons, for
If you have
medicinal
certain conditions,
for
yeah.
medicinal purposes, that it can be helpful too. But just for the heck of it, I'm not sure about it.
Well, the fact is, if you know anything about the science behind it, it's not illegal because it's a deadly substance. In fact, it's basically impossible to die from it if you know the real science of it. So this guy putting it out there, this very popular guy here in the Philippines, and this popular guy on YouTube saying, "Don't kill yourself with it." I mean, I'm pretty sure this guy knows that that's a ridiculous statement, but it's his image. If he doesn't know that you can't kill yourself via marijuana, then this guy needs to take a science class and do some research.
Maybe you can blame him, especially that in the Philippines, even in school, we were taught that 420 Why are we calling it 420
I don't know. You keep calling 420. Like we all know what we're talking about now, and even someone in the room,
Yeah.
Kalichi Obi,
Hi,
says
Kalechi Obi.
they said they were looking for videos on 420 for marijuana, but this is nice too.
Thank
Well,
you for
thank
joining
you.
us, Kalechi. Hey, look,
But-
what did Corey said? I guess he liked your...
Oh, Corey in the room, he watched one of my Easter videos that I did about 3 years ago, something like that, in Los Angeles, and he really enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed my Easter video that I made a few years back. That's one of my underappreciated videos, so I'm glad that you enjoyed it, Corey, and I'm glad that you shared it. Spreading the love. Spreading the love, Mon. That's my Jamaican accent since we were talking about 420.
Oh, well,
But
go ahead.
we were speaking about enough about that, I suppose, now, unless people want us to keep talking about it.
No.
I don't know what else we could say about it at this point. I suppose we could elaborate even further. But I was just talking about science, and I want to talk about something tonight because it's a religious holiday, and I'm also a very scientific man. So I thought it would be very special in this broadcast to connect the two. We're gonna like talk about something scientific as it relates to something of a religious nature with Jesus. And I've already annoyed you by talking about this all week long, but I figured I would share this with my viewers. This is going to be educational and spiritual. So, guys, there's something that we need to realize, and that is Jesus Christ could not have existed without cows. It's true. It's true. I'll show you where I'm going with this. They've been showing this show, and they've been rerunning a lot on History Channel. The series is called Big History, and they have this episode called Rise of the Carnivores. That's the title of the episode. And it's basically about how important beef and cows are to mankind and the world. Mm-hmm. The world, they talk about how the world needed, at least humans, needed beef and cows. And this is what they said, and I believe it's true. Basically, the ancestors of humans hundreds of thousands of years ago, before we were as evolved as we are now and what we are now, and the ancestors of cows, they didn't have cows, they had the ancestor of the cows. They were these very violent creatures, but the ancestors of the humans started hunting them, and they would kill them and then eat them, and in particular they started cooking them, which made the nutrients come out more. And what happened as a result of this was two major things. Our bellies got smaller and our brains got much bigger, therefore we got smarter. So as a result of eating and cooking beef, we evolved into humans. We evolved into these intelligent creatures that we are now, with these incredible capacities for thought, contemplation, invention, creation, all that stuff. And that couldn't have happened without eating the meat. And here's something before we talk about how it connects to Jesus. Humans also invented cows. So cows, and I'll explain. So humans evolved by eating it, but these ancestors of cows, they were vicious creatures, very dangerous to try and hunt and catch. So some humans captured some calves, and then they bred them they would take the most docile, the ones with the most gentle and docile traits, and breed them with other ones that were gentle, which changed the evolution of the animal. They were genetically engineering them, much like kind of Hitler wanted to do in Germany by breeding what he considered pure Aryans with other pure Aryans to create this more evolved, like, master race, and he was genetically engineering to take things in a way. Well, this is what humans did hundreds of thousands of years ago with the ancestors of cows. Mm-hmm. And out of the millions of cows today, they're all related to these 80 cows that humans bred together to create a more gentle animal that they could control easier. Mm-hmm. But here's how it all ties to Jesus, gang. And that is, we needed to eat these things. We needed to eat this beef and cook it so we could evolve into human beings with the bigger brains and thought capacity. And since Jesus was a human being, he couldn't have existed if we didn't evolve into what we became. We couldn't have had Jesus because Jesus was a human. And not only that, if we weren't humans, if we were less intelligent and more like animal type creatures with that level of thinking, would there even be a need for a Jesus Christ? Well, do we really need a savior or do we need a God if we don't even have intelligent enough brains to contemplate such things? If we were really just animals, do we have a need for religion or God or this need for a savior to save us from our sins? Because we'd be like animals. And do animals sin? I don't think animals are capable of sinning. They just act off of their instincts and their primitive thought. So without cows, Jesus could not have existed. Mind blown?
Let me say something then. You know what? It's an interesting to know. And I was he was saying, like, I was annoyed by it. I wasn't really annoyed. I realized it's a very interesting fact. But you know what? The thing is, that just makes me realize how great God is, how brilliant God is for using the humans in those times to do that, to breed whatever, like with the help of cows and everything. Who do you think
cows are a human invention? Yeah. Think about that. Humans invented cows.
But who do you think? Man. The humans, us, have been blessed by God with this idea, with this wisdom, with this brilliance to do these things. So everything is part of the master plan of God, right? Right, guys?
Is what I'm hoping is that you guys have learned something, and that is that Jesus couldn't have existed without cows. And who taught you that? This guy.
Not really. Whatever happens, Jesus will still
It's weird
be there.
to think about. It's weird to think about that. I mean, humans at all couldn't really existed without eating and cooking meat, and cows couldn't have existed without humans because humans invented cows basically through genetic engineering, which is crazy that there were humans that had that idea hundreds of thousands of years ago that they could change, that they could evolve what they had into a different animal altogether. It's crazy that they knew that somehow they could engineer and change their DNA and evolve cows, these very primitive people by today's standards. And that was even before Jesus lived. That was like thousands of years before him. Human beings were creating cows.
Yeah,
those are some smart dudes. Even in the modern era with my college degree. Well, I don't know why I did that. I do have a college degree. It makes it seem like I have a fake one. But even a college-educated person like me, I don't think I could come up with the idea to hey, let's take those animals and let's turn them into something else. Let's make them evolve in a different direction. I couldn't even think of that. Yet those people that made the cows, they must have been geniuses or something.
Well, I mean, being a genius, being able to do these things, that's part of God's blessings, So these things, I mean, it's really mind-blowing, but it's just a mere reminder that God is just so great.
So I wanted to make this a very spiritual broadcast and a very scientific broadcast.
Yeah, I just don't like it whenever you say Jesus could have never existed without this.
But it's true because it's like saying Jesus couldn't have existed without oxygen.
No,
he's a human and he needs oxygen.
But
So couldn't have Jesus.
God has already has this master plan. So these cow thing.
Okay, well, if God has this master plan, let me ask you this: why did God create Hitler? And if everything happens for a reason, is it true that everything happened in Hitler's life for a reason to turn him in to what he became and go on and terrorize millions of people? So it was Hitler God's creation?
Okay, there's this thing. There's a Bible, and the scripture says, trust not on your own understanding, but lean on God. So we to explain why it happened. But see, all things work together for the good. And that's because of God's grace and God's blessing. I mean, we also have free will. So even if God has this great master plan for us, sometimes or most of the time we falter, we make mistakes, just like Hitler. He did all these, you know, really terrible things
Well,
to
what
people.
about this? If God has a master plan and everything happens for a reason, Hitler's probably not even in hell. If you die and you see God, maybe he's there hanging out with Hitler, and he'll be like, God, what's he doing here? And he'll be like, what? This guy's part of my master plan. I created him. I made things happen in his life to get him to do what he did and got him to rise to power. I work in mysterious ways. You might not understand
It's
but
not
Hitler was part of my plan for the way planet Earth needs to work.
It's
So
not,
that could be.
well, that could be. Hitler can be in heaven. Who knows? Who are we to judge who among us?
Who are we
hold
to
on.
judge
Who
Hitler?
are we to judge who would go to heaven and hell? The thing is, it's very simple. As a Christian, to go to heaven, there's a free gift of salvation. There's a free gift of forgiveness that God has for us. And that already was given to us since Jesus died on the cross for us. So, who knows if Hitler repented for his sins and asked for forgiveness? It's only God who knows it. I mean, the actions that Hitler did, those are really bad, super bad, right? Like people would hate him. But still, any one of us can commit sins and we can all be bad. But there's always second chance.
But
And
to be Hitler,
God
you
is
have to be a
merciful.
really motivated sinner. To be
Yeah.
Hitler was not a lazy sinner. He was a very motivated sinner because it's not like you almost conquer Europe by like being a lazy dude. He may have been a sinner, but I guess we can't accuse him of being a lazy sinner, huh? No one ever said that about Hitler, apparently. That guy's lazy, man. They'll be like, no, he's motivated, but he's so motivated he's scary.
Okay, let's pause for a little bit by
Why?
reading comments.
Okay.
We don't have commercial break.
I want to
can
address
you try
Corey's.
to go down first so we
I want
don't
to.
miss other
Okay.
stuff? Just to welcome the new guys,
A lot of the room is
the
filling
people
up.
who just joined us.
Unfortunately, since some of these people are coming to the room late, they missed my audition for Cheech and Chong. So maybe if you guys watch the recording, you can catch that in the beginning.
You can try to catch it in the beginning of the recording.
With my, I'm a fine thespian, am I not?
I
Imabelle?
think so, based on
Hopefully.
their feedback.
Hopefully.
So, dogs love too. Happy resurrection. Happy resurrection to you. What's his name again? Pet, right?
Pet Wrangler.
Yeah, Pet
That's his
Wrangler.
not Pat. Pet. Like
What
pet.
pet? Like pet.
Yeah,
Like
like
a
a
pet dog?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
his business name, Pet Wrangler.
Pet.
My Beauty 80, welcome. Corey, I want to address this question about Corey. So eating beef will make my, oh, it just jumped again.
It'll make my tummy smaller and make me smarter at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
Corey says, so will eating beef will make my tummy smaller and make me smarter. I'm not sure about smarter. Maybe we have to evolve further, or to get smarter, maybe study.
I guess it's
Eating
a process.
eating beef, I think, can make your tummy smaller. But the trick is you can't really eat other things with it, even if it's high fat content. On a serious note, like I've been, studying a lot of stuff with nutrition. There's two ways to lose weight. One is to cut your calories down from whatever they are, eat fewer calories, and that will work. That will make you lose weight. However, all that's really going to do by dropping your calories is make you a smaller version of whatever you are.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, that's fine. For some people, that they do it, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see fat people go to slimmer people, and it's a huge improvement. So that's one way to lose weight, cutting calories. The way that I prefer to do it, the way that I think is better, is the low-carb diets. And I've been reading a lot lately about one way that a lot of people go wrong with low-carb diets is they think that low-carb means high protein. And it doesn't necessarily mean that. Really, I mean, you definitely need a good amount of protein, especially if you're an athlete. You need a good amount of protein, but for women, they don't really need it, or for average people that aren't that active, they don't need as much protein. But so they go wrong thinking it just means high protein, and they try and get most of their calories from protein. And they say actually 60%, 60 to 65%, to do it correctly, 60 to 65% of your calories should come from fat. And then like 30% from protein, and then the rest from carbs. And that's the correct way to do a low carb diet. So beef is good, even if it's high fat. You can't really eat other stuff with it. Pickles are okay to have with it. Eggs are okay. Don't throw away the yolk. By the way, if you throw away the yolk, you're throwing away the most nutritious part of the egg because it has about the same amount of protein as the egg white, but all the vitamins and minerals are in the yolk. That's where all the good stuff is. The real nutrition's in the yolk. So whole eggs you can have, and fish, tuna, I mean, that stuff's not high in fat, so you're going to want to have other types of fatty meat substances other than just that. But so I think if you really want to look good, the better way to lose weight instead of just cutting calories is to cut out the carbs if you really want that like hard, solid, muscular look. And of course, also the other part of achieving that toned, muscular look is not it, but you got to do some resistance training, preferably, pushing against iron, doing, weightlifting and that kind of thing. You got to do some form of resistance training and the diet if you want that hard, tight, muscular look. So to answer that question, hopefully that helps you.
Let me say something. Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Those healthy tips are brought to you by. Thank you for those tips, see? So it's just really good to, you know what, guys?
Handle it. I'm going to refill my drink. It's hot in here.
I'm not really very conscious about the food I eat, but I want to be healthy. Of course, I want to eat nutritious food, but it's just so nice that I learn a lot from Travis when it comes to eating. I mean, the right food to eat and all that stuff. Well, thank God, Travis was a 3-time state wrestling champion, and he told me stories like how he had to, prepare. Yeah, to what?
Cut weight.
To cut weight for wrestling, and then he had to eat only egg or egg yolk. What is that?
I ate nothing but eggs for 2 weeks.
He ate nothing but eggs for 2 weeks. Can you do that?
Time to make weight.
Yeah, to make weight, and that's super discipline. So I guess wrestling is good if you really want to learn how to, if you want to learn discipline. So I guess we'll have our kids wrestle. Just kidding. Well, Travis is back. So you know what, guys? Thank you for joining us, and feel free to leave your comments, any questions, or anything that you want to share with us. And
Corey also says, using the same logic, those guys that started it had large bellies and small brains, but still came up with evolving cows. Actually, they started eating. It was the other way around. The less evolved guys, our ancestors, they started eating the ancestors of cows. The problem was they weren't like modern cows. They were extremely vicious animals, and they would kill you if you make one mistake trying to hunt them, or you miss it, you don't quite get it right with your spear. They'll kill you. They're extremely vicious animals that loved fighting. They were extremely aggressive. So they started eating them, and then they evolved. The humans evolved a little bit first and got the larger brains, and then those guys are the ones, the more evolved humans, that came up with the idea, hey, we need to change these animals into a more gentle type of animal. So they captured calves, the babies that you can control more because they're small. They captured those, and the ones that had the gentle traits, they bred them with other ones that had gentle traits, and that's how they made cows, basically.
Interesting.
So, and like I said, out of the millions of cows that are living today on the planet, they all trace back to the 80 original cows in that one herd, where they decided to breed them and alter their DNA.
Also, for sure, I lost whatever I had in my mind. Let me see. I was like trying to look at the comments, and it's kind of interesting.
Scott, let's get to Scott.
Go
I think
down,
I missed
Scott.
Scott, I'm not trying to ignore you, and I know there's a delay for people in the room, After I say something, they hear it a minute or so later. So it's not quite real time.
Welcome to the live stream, Scott. Scott F. And he said something before that. Can you try to go down?
I'm trying to.
Up? No, go up. Please, we're done. There.
I don't know. I got
Scott-
off on a
Scott
tangent.
F.
First, we were talking about marijuana. Then it evolved into talking about Jesus. Then or talking about how we needed cows for Jesus. And we've been all over the place, but hopefully it's been a learning
Well,
experience.
we're not really following a strict or
No.
strict format. So anything goes. Here, Scott have said he means that what happened over thousands. Okay, this is referring to the cow.
I'm not
thing,
sure how long it took to
basically.
make the more gentle cows. I don't think it took thousands of years exactly to evolve them, because they got those ones with the very gentle traits. I think the ones that showed the typical aggressive trait, they killed them or whatever before they got out of control. And they would breed gentle ones with other gentle ones.
And for sure, in those old times, super old times, air was still really fresh, clean. The environment was different. Mike, good. Thank you for joining us. I didn't know you were Christians.
Hey,
there.
Scott says if Hitler put his energy towards positivity, he would have benefited the world so much.
But this is what I saw from Scott F. Who are we to judge Hitler? LOL. And then
I said that as a joke. Who are we to judge Hitler? But if you get down to it, my grandfather told me a story when he was in the military, because he enlisted to as part of the war effort when the United States went to war. But my grandfather told me this story when I saw him a few years ago about he was stationed in Alabama. He was a drill sergeant, and he was training soldiers, and he had a friend that was from that area, the South, and they got onto a bus together. And in those days, in the southern part of the United States, black people had to ride in the back of the bus. That was the rule. But my grandfather got onto the bus with his friend, and his friend saw a black guy sitting in the front of the bus, and this guy just hauled off, punched him, knocked him unconscious. This black guy just was sitting in the front of the bus. And, my grandfather was saying, people from the South, that's just how they think. They grow up with racist.
It was normal.
Yeah, for this guy, it was normal. And for other people on the bus, it was just normal to completely punch this black dude and knock him out. This is World War II era, keep in mind, when the United States were at war with the evil Nazis. This is what was going on with our own military. And my grandfather, I kind of embarrassed actually that my grandfather told me this story. I love my grandpa, and he's an honorable man. But I kind of find it shocking that my grandfather didn't do something about this situation instead of just saying, well, these people in the South, they grow up racist, and it's like they can't help it because they're brainwashed with being racist against black people. But it's kind of crazy to think about that the United States, and I love the United States, I don't want to talk bad about it, but they want to accuse the Germans as being these bad racist guys, when look at what the United States was doing. Also, if you know about the Tuskegee Airmen, our military injected syphilis in some black Air Force guys, just to see what it would do. I mean, it's syphilis. It's bad stuff. So
why not just use
it's kind of like,
for that?
or how about not injecting anyone or anything with syphilis? Syphilis had been around hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. We already knew it was bad stuff.
So why did they do that? Just to
experimentation. By the way, my grandfather had similar experiments done on him. Not syphilis. He says he doesn't even know what he was injected with. The military would do things. They would give them shots with God knows what in them. Then they would take them up in an airplane, fly them around, and then they would land and do tests on them. And my grandpa says, I still have no idea whatever they were injecting into me. They were using us as guinea pigs for these human experiments. But going back to the story, I kind of find it weird that the United States demonizes the Nazis when it's like, look at what they were doing in their own country. It's completely shameful. And I don't want to get on people that are from another generation where they had another culture, but during that time, they're demonizing Nazis, but they're really doing, the same garbage. It's absolutely crazy to me. And hopefully we live in a better world, even though now, on the one video, as I talked about this in one of our other live broadcasts, a lot of African American men are giving me a hard time because of one of my videos, the video about Filipino girls talking about what's good about white men. And it's not a video that they're saying that white people are better than any other race of people, but for whatever reason, a lot of African American men have kind of been harassing me. By the way, there's also been a number of African American males that have told me they liked the video. So, but I never really expected to get this kind of harassment, this cyberbullying, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's a bit extreme. I never really expected that when I made the video. I thought that I was just making a cool, kind of fun, funny, entertaining video to promotes the Philippines as a place that's friendly and open to white people. And the reason I made it about white people is I'm asking people, basically the women, what they find good about white guys, like what good qualities they have. And the reason it's about white men instead of Americans or Westerners is because I'm white and I can't speak on behalf of the black race. I can't say I know what it's like to be a black man in the Philippines. So I had to make it about white people. I can't speak for them, But and I don't even mention these other races, but they get angry at me. I don't even mention black people, but they get angry. And I think that's very unfair. But it's the internet. You can't hold everyone accountable. Scott F. says, why do bodybuilders throw the yoke away? Some do, but that's because I think they're not, they're told, those guys are told that, that's where all the fat is, be careful of that. Also because of the 80s, there's a lot of propaganda against eggs, which now doctors they quietly went away from that advice, don't eat eggs because they'll raise your cholesterol. Well, now they know that's completely not true. There's no association with eating cholesterol and having bad cholesterol levels in your bodies. So now doctors don't give that advice, but they won't say, oh, we were wrong before.
I saw posts about it
he
on
says,
Facebook.
why do bodybuilders throw the yoke away? A lot of them are misinformed. By the way, speaking of bodybuilders, the bodybuilders of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's actually talked about this on video, and there's also another guy on YouTube that I subscribe to, Rick Draze. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but he was one of Arnold's friends and was a big bodybuilder in the 70s, competitive bodybuilder. He also did a video talking about don't throw away the yolks. In the 70s, we ate yolks, and we were completely ripped and stuff. They all did the low-carb diet in the 70s, and they ate high-fat with, they never threw away their yolks. So Rick Drazen, who was a contemporary of Arnold and friend of Arnold, that used to train at Gold's with him in the golden days, the golden era of bodybuilding, he did a video specifically about how they never threw away the egg yolks. They ate them and just did the basic low-carb diet pretty much year-round. If they needed some carbs, he would eat a banana occasionally, and that's it for the carbs. But he did a specific video saying they never threw away their yolks, so it's completely unnecessary. Quit wasting food, quit throwing it away. So hopefully that answers. By the way, my dad is a champion bodybuilder, and he was the one that, that got us when I had to cut weight and lose some body fat for wrestling, that got us on low-carb diets and introduced me to that. My dad was a competitive bodybuilder. He's also a North Dakota state champion in bodybuilding. So, and my dad, he doesn't worry about fat content. My dad, he bulks up a little bit in the winter and even kind of gets a little bit fat. He likes to eat. So if he wants candy bars to start, he eats it in the winter. But every summer, and he's been doing this for probably 40 years now, he diets down. And he does it fairly slowly. He slowly starts cutting out carbs. But if you see him in the middle or end of summer, even as an old guy now, he's completely ripped with abs popping out. He gets so ripped up. And typically, this is what my dad's diet is like when he's dieting in the summer. Especially when he's on the more strict diet, he gradually cuts out carbs more and more. Most of his carbs, when he eats carbs, is from bread. He likes bread, like buns with hamburgers or hamburgers with buns. But my dad, he'll typically for breakfast, he doesn't do this thing, eat every 2 hours. That's not a very practical way to live your life. It's probably unnecessary. The way my dad gets so ripped is a typical day for him of meals, and he does this almost every day. He will, for breakfast, he'll eat eggs, like scrambled eggs or whatever. For lunch, he'll eat like tuna and probably some salad. And then for dinner, after his workout, he has a few hamburgers actually, he starts out the meal, he usually has a big salad, and then he eats 3 or 4 hamburgers with no buns. And that's how he gets completely ripped. It's like eggs in the morning, tuna and salad for lunch, and then salad and hamburgers with no buns for dinner. And he gets completely shredded doing that.
Can you do that?
I'm not that disciplined. My body weight goes up and down quite a bit. Right now I'm a bit heavier than I typically am. I'm fatter than I typically am. I haven't been dieting at all. I used to be a lot leaner when I was more modeling. I had to keep it down a lot more. But my body weight goes up and down a little depending. Especially if I know I have a particular shoot and it's a little ways away, I have time to diet down, and then I do the low carb thing. And that's how I do it. Right now I've been eating a lot after the past couple of days, especially since Friday. I was so hungry. And it was Good Friday, and in the Philippines, that means there's nothing open. And I was so hungry that day. So since stores opened up yesterday, I've been pigging out, having hamburgers with potato chips and buns, and my stomach's quite stretched out now. I've been eating like a pig for the past couple of days. I didn't like being deprived on Friday and not being able to go any place. The only place that's open in Manila, the only place that's open on Good Friday is McDonald's, really. And it's not. I don't have anything against McDonald's, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for it.
Really open on Good Friday, but just a few other branches were closed. Is that the question? Scott have said Travis was just about to answer my question, then left. So I guess that was that was already answered, right?
I think I did answer it.
Down?
I know there's a delay from the time he hears this. Was the question about the bodybuilders? I take it, or Hitler Hitler having positive.
Oh, which one?
He says if Hitler put his energy toward positivity. Oh, I think we talked about that. How I said the United States was doing some bad stuff, and also keep in mind this. I was actually thinking about doing a video about this.
I was just gonna talk about that, but okay. I got cut off when you moved on to.
Well, let me talk about it. I've been thinking about doing a video and getting
like the picture, right?
And getting Filipinos' perspectives and thoughts on Hitler, because it's a very different culture here. And the average Filipino, actually, I don't even think they know who Adolf Hitler is. And in the United States, from the time, growing up the whole time in school and media, in the United States, they tell you that Hitler's the most evil person to ever live, and Hitler is like really a synonym for pure evil. And here they don't even have a concept of who that is. I thought it might be interesting just to show that parts of the world don't even know who this guy is, even if on American television there's specials about this guy on TV all the time and documentaries about him. So I was thinking about doing that, but Hitler in American culture